Cynthia, a seasoned psychotherapist with a unique gift, pushed open the door to a chilling sight, a menacing demon clutching a teenage girl in its grip. Frozen in terror against the wall, Cynthia barely had time to process the scene before the girl's father burst in, frantically pulling his daughter away and rushing her out of the room. Known for her rare ability to tap into patients' subconscious minds through psychic techniques, Cynthia had built a career helping people confront their deepest psychological scars. But this case was different. The girl, Riley, wasn't just troubled. She was possessed by a malevolent force so dark that even Cynthia, with all her experience, felt powerless against it. She confided her fears, admitting that challenging this demon might be beyond her. Her daughter and assistant May didn't share her mother's hesitation. Outraged by Cynthia's refusal to act, May stormed off, determined not to stand by while Riley suffered. The next day, driven by a mix of compassion and defiance, May slipped away to Riley's house. She knocked, but the eerie silence that answered set her nerves on edge. Peering through a gap, she caught a glimpse of Riley, seemingly trapped in a basement. Suspecting Riley's father might be abusing her, May crept into the house, her heart pounding as she searched for the girl. Opening a door, she found only a closet, which struck her as odd but didn't deter her. Her focus was singular: find Riley. Then a faint, haunting melody drifted from within the closet, leading May to discover a hidden, locked door concealed behind it. Armed with a screwdriver, she pried it open, revealing a dark, foreboding basement. Despite a creeping fear, she descended into the shadows, the oppressive darkness wrapping around her like a warning. As May fumbled for her phone to call her mother, Riley's face suddenly appeared from behind the door, startling her. The next thing May knew, she was waking up in a nightmare, locked in the basement with a disfigured woman. Riley's father, a gruff man with a beard, stepped into the dim light, his intentions chillingly clear. He had lured May here, knowing Cynthia couldn't defeat the demon possessing his daughter. The woman beside May, he revealed, was another victim, kidnapped to feed the demon's insatiable hunger for fresh bodies. May realized with horror that she was next. Riley, her hands trembling, pinned May down as her father snatched her phone, sending a deceptive text to Cynthia, claiming May was at a friend's house before smashing the device. As he prepared to flee with Riley, something shifted in the girl. Unable to bear the thought of more innocent lives lost for her sake, Riley secretly freed May and the other woman. But their escape was cut short when they ran straight into the barrel of the father's gun. Riley threw herself in front of May, pleading with her father to stop, but chaos erupted. The disfigured woman, driven by desperation, lunged at him, and in the struggle, a shot rang out. Riley collapsed, lifeless, the bullet claiming her. A piercing ringing filled May's ears, disorienting her, and in that moment, a pitch-black demon materialized before her. With Riley gone, the demon had chosen May as its new host. Terrified, she stumbled out of the house, collapsing into her mother's arms as Cynthia arrived, searching for her. Meanwhile, the father sped off, vanishing into the night. The next day, police scoured the basement, uncovering human remains, a grim sign that May wasn't the first to suffer at his hands. As they questioned May, the weight of the demon inside her grew heavier, though no one yet knew the full extent of her torment. Back home, May begged Cynthia for help, tears streaming down her face. Cynthia hesitated, her husband's death a lingering wound that made her fear facing another demon. But May was her daughter, and love outweighed fear. Determined to try, Cynthia enlisted her friend, a woman with curly hair, to assist in a risky ritual. She instructed her friend to watch closely and pull her back if she showed signs of losing control. The ritual began, Cynthia pressing her fingers to May's forehead, chanting softly as she slipped into her daughter's subconscious. She found herself before a house where a young May sat at the doorstep, a vision of her daughter's childhood. Stepping inside, Cynthia navigated a maze of twisting vines, sensing the demon's presence lurking within. Suddenly it appeared, its malevolent form overwhelming her. A sharp slap from her friend yanked her back to reality, confirming what she dreaded. This demon was far stronger than she was. Refusing to give up, Cynthia dug deeper, investigating the demon's origins. Her search led her to the bearded man's wife. Tracking down Blondie's doctor, Cynthia learned of the woman's bizarre condition, her teeth falling out, her body decaying in ways that defied medical explanation. The doctor recounted how, in her final moments, Blondie had grabbed her arm, and it felt as though her very life force was being drained. Despite decades of study, the doctor had no answers, admitting that Blondie's case shattered every scientific theory she knew. For Cynthia, the stakes were higher than ever. Her daughter's life hung in the balance, and the demon's grip was tightening. In the dead of night, May tossed and turned, trapped in a vivid nightmare. She was a child again, standing in a house where twisted vines snaked across the walls. A ladder stretched up to the ceiling, and from above came a low, eerie hum that sent shivers down her spine. Jerked awake, her heart raced, unable to shake the dread. Before she could catch her breath, the bedroom door creaked open on its own. Instead of hiding, May, fueled by a mix of fear and defiance, crept toward it to investigate, unaware that the demon lurking within her was trailing close behind. As she stepped into the kitchen, a pair of hands shot out from the shadows, snatching her into darkness. Meanwhile, Cynthia returned home from her investigation to a chilling scene. Her friend with the curly hair lay unconscious on the floor, and May was nowhere to be found. Panic surged through her as she called the police, who promised to do everything they could to locate her daughter. Unbeknownst to Cynthia, May had been taken by Riley's father, the bearded man, to a remote forest. He locked her in a coffin-like box, buried in the earth. May woke in terror, pounding against the lid, her desperation giving her the strength to push it open. But her fleeting hope was crushed as the man loomed over her, pressing a shovel to her throat before nailing the box shut again, intent on burying her alive to avenge his daughter, Riley. Back at the police station, Cynthia waited anxiously for news, only to be stunned when the bearded man turned himself in. Her pleas for answers fell on deaf ears. He refused to reveal May's location. Desperate, Cynthia convinced the sheriff to let her speak with him alone, hoping to use her psychic abilities to dive into his mind and find her daughter. At the same time, May, trapped in the box, realized with horror that the demon was sealed inside with her. Her screams echoed through the forest, a piercing cry for survival. The sheriff, though hesitant, granted Cynthia's request, knowing time was running out. She pressed her fingers to the man's forehead, plunging into his fractured subconscious. Navigating a maze of his memories and fears, she glimpsed a forest where May was buried. Though the forest was vast, like searching for a needle in a haystack, Cynthia had no choice but to act. Grabbing 2 shovels from the man's car, she and her friend raced to the woods, guided by a road sign she'd seen in his mind. The police trailed behind, and something, perhaps a mother's instinct, led Cynthia straight to the spot. They dug frantically, unearthing the box. When they pried it open, Cynthia's heart broke at the sight of her daughter, battered but alive, her breath faint but steady. As police sirens wailed in the distance, Cynthia knew the real battle was far from over. The demon still clung to May. She instructed her friend to stall the police, buying time for a final ritual. Once again, Cynthia pressed her fingers to May's forehead, slipping into her daughter's subconscious. She stood before the same vine-choked house where a young May sat at the doorstep. This time the vines were thicker, strangling the space, a sign the demon was tightening its grip on May's soul. Steeling herself, Cynthia climbed to the second floor and up a ladder to the attic. There, a heart-wrenching vision stopped her cold, the memory of her husband's body hanging lifeless, a wound she'd never healed from. In the shadows, the demon emerged, and when Cynthia demanded it release her daughter, it lunged, choking her with its icy grip. In a desperate move, Cynthia pressed her fingers to the demon's forehead, chanting a spell that pulled her into its own twisted mind. She found herself in a cave, gripping a weapon as she moved toward a pulsing red glow. On a throne sat a grotesque, menacing demon, rising to attack. But before it could reach her, a voice called out, yanking her back to reality. The sheriff had found her. In that split second, the demon vanished, only for vines to erupt from all sides, binding Cynthia's limbs. Back in the attic of May's mind, May herself appeared, having followed her mother into the demon's world through the same psychic technique. Seeing her mother in danger, May drove a spear through the demon's head, freeing Cynthia from its grasp. Together they fought, hacking the demon into pieces until it was nothing but a lifeless heap. A woman named Blondie, who had died a month earlier, also plagued by a demon. Exhausted and shaken, they embraced, the nightmare finally over. Cynthia awoke, and May, at last, was free from the demon's torment. If you were gripped by this chilling recap, give it a thumbs up to show your love. Don't forget to subscribe for more thrilling movie recaps and breakdowns. Hit that notification bell to stay in the loop for our next recap.